Good morning and congratulations for taking the first step to solving your slow money blues. My name is Doug, retired U.S. Marine and two-time combat veteran turned entrepreneur at your service. Today's episode is Donald Trump in our W.I.L.F series. Our W.I.L.F series is all about what I learned from, and so far we've talked about Barack Obama, we've talked about Oprah Winfrey, and now we're going to be talking about Donald Trump. So I'm super excited that you've allowed me to be part of your day. And man, I am stoked up, wired up, fired up, and ready to go. So if you have any questions, simply visit slowmoneyblues.com and click on Ask Doug, or submit your question on IG, Facebook, or Twitter using hashtag SlowMoneyBlues. And what are we going to be talking about today? Well, that's a great question. Of course, our subject matter is Donald Trump, but the main point is how to remain in high demand. Now, if you've been rocking with me for any amount of time, you absolutely know that we have 3 questions on Slow Money Blues that you have to address every Tuesday. And the reason is because this is the deal, right? I don't want you to suffer from slow money blues. So question number 1, did you do your homework from last week? And the only thing you had to do was identify your most authentic character trait. You were supposed to identify your most authentic character trait. And I think I told you that my most authentic character trait probably is belief. You said, I didn't even know there was a character trait. Well, for me, it is belief. All right, question number 2. Did you say your morning mantra? If you didn't say your morning mantra, guess what? You get to say it every day with yours truly, Doug. So let's say it together. Say, I state your full government name. Take 100% responsibility and accountability for my actions and decisions. I refuse to blame others. If I do, I give away all of my power, authority, and power given to me by God, which is why I am always focused, firmly on course until successful. And then lastly, did you listen to the Monday sneak peek preview? Hopefully you did, but if you did not, guess what? It's okay, because we're going to unpack and unhack this episode just for you today. And we have to pay the bills, so check this out. Who's been rocking with me all year long? It's linky.com and bignetdomain.com. So if you are a solopreneur, mompreneur, or dadpreneur, or if you're an online marketer, or if you're an author, or if you're in a crypto space, or if you're trying to do almost anything, go to linky.com. That's spelled LIINKY.com. All year long, this is what they have been running. You can get a 7-day free trial offer, no credit card required, and you got access to all the bells and whistles. If you want to see what you have access to, go and sign up for that free account today. That's linky.com, LIINKY.com. One link, endless possibilities. And if you want to see what an example looks like, go to linky.com/slowmoneyblues. Now, it is 2022. Matter of fact, in a couple of days, it's going to be 2023. And guess what, good people? People still have a digital dilemma. And because they have a digital dilemma, guess what? They probably have a money dilemma. They probably have a cash flow dilemma. But yours truly is here to solve that for you today. Hey, go to our partner site, bignetdomain.com, where the net just got bigger. And you can actually get, for this year, if you purchase a domain name, you get hosting for that domain for 1 entire year, absolutely free. Just use promo code BIGNET. So if you need a website, if you need email marketing, if you need hosting, whether it be cPanel or WordPress or dedicated or virtual, they have you covered. Oh, the best part, if you need e-commerce, you know how to make that money, right? You got a product or service, you want to sell it to people, they have you locked on that as well. So go to bignetdomain.com, where the net just got bigger. Use promo code BIGNET at checkout and receive 10% savings. And remember, if you purchase a domain name, .com, .us, .net, .123, .whatever, and I don't think that is a generic top-level domain, you will receive hosting free for 1 year. So today's question is, are you currently in high demand? Yes, no, or maybe. If you're not, you definitely want to stay tuned into the show today. You're fired. The famous phrase was uttered by Donald Trump on the award-winning reality show, The Apprentice, countless, and I mean countless times. But that was just the beginning, or was it? Well, let's get personal. Donald Trump literally makes his living by saying some of the most provocative, outlandish, and over-embellished statements in history. He lies, cheats, and steals. So what is his appeal? Now, the main point, as we talked about earlier, is how to remain in high demand. You know, sometimes if you look at any type of chart, and whenever there's a launch, sometimes there's a big splash like boom, and it does this on a chart. Whether you look at left or right, it does this. It skyrockets like, and sometimes it goes boom, and then it just falls off the cliff. But today we're going to be talking about how to remain in high demand. Okay, our subject matter is Donald Trump, and he's part of our What I Learned From series. And the first thing is this: as always, discover a problem. Donald Trump realized that his persona, with his swag and his unique style and the way that he can communicate, guess what? He was solving people's problem to be entertained by a person just like himself. And guess what? It didn't start with The Apprentice. He's been doing this his whole life. So long before we got into the super information highway, and when print media dominated headlines, right? And before local news became national and global news because of just I don't want to say social media, but because of the way technology has allowed information to travel at the speed of light. Donald Trump was doing this his whole life. You know, so whether it was headlines, you know, in the New York market area, he always was able to discover a particular problem. And he knew how to tap into people's grievances and exploit that grievance, right? And that grievance always kept him in high demand. You can't make this up. So from giving people an opportunity on The Apprentice, right? And, you know, presenting them with all types of challenges and then saying, no, you're fired, to the point that also he limited how many women came on his show, to how many minorities came on his show. Guess what? That always caused people to say, well, why does he have this person on the show? Why does he have this person? Or why does the woman always get fired? Or why does always the fake black guy always gets fired? He always was able to discover a problem. And then he did this. Number two, he solved the problem. Believe it or not, people, not everybody, at least half the people in America had a problem when Barack Obama was elected president. And if you go back and look at the previous W.I.L.F series, I talk about Barack Obama. And so what did Donald Trump do again? He tapped into that grievance of all of the people that did not like Barack Obama. And guess what? He said, I'm going to speak to that grievance. I'm going to stoke that grievance. And it's going to take me all the way to the White House. So again, he discovered a problem. And the problem was people had grievance and they needed somebody to be a mouthpiece for him. Donald Trump said, I will gladly do that for you today, tomorrow, 7 days a week, every day, all day, 365 days a year. And in doing it, he hijacked the whole media industry because it made not only him plenty of money, but he also made the powers that be of all of these global media outlets tons and tons of money. So what the problem was grievance, and people didn't have someone that looked like them and to air it out on a big stage. And so he solved that problem for him. He rode down the escalator and he said, I'm running. And then his style, the way in which he did it, he was not your traditional quote unquote politician. He said, I alone can solve these problems. And he alone cleared the field. I mean, I'm talking about he cleared the field with the quote unquote establishment. I'm talking about the people that have been in Washington, D.C. for many, many years. Listen, they had a whole network. They had all their infrastructure in place. They had grassroots. They had all of that. And old Donald Trump came in, and guess what he did? He exploited that because he said, you know what? You all are politicians. You're career politicians. You're not doing what the people want you to do. And I alone can do that. And when he went there, it's not that he solved any problems, right? He didn't solve any problems, but he actually did solve a problem. He gave people a voice that felt like they were not being heard. And because of that, it vaulted him. I mean, if he was, as popular as Barack Obama was, Donald Trump was even more popular. And on both sides, people loved him and people hated him. But guess what? He tapped into that grievance and he gave people who were voiceless a voice. And man, he just to the moon. And people saw that and they say, you know what? Hey, if that works, guess what? I'm going to do the same thing. He has created a quote unquote political blueprint on how to get to the White House. And so he discovered a problem, which was people who felt like they had no voice. He spoke for them. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to solve that problem. I'm going to do it on the biggest stage. I'm going to run for the highest office in the land, in the United States of America, and win and clear the field and do what I want to do on my terms, how I want to do it. And guess what? He's going to remain in perpetual high demand. Now, if you want to continue to remain in high demand, you have to do number 3. And that's simply repeat. You're going to discover the problem. You're going to solve the problem. And you're going to keep repeating that. And if I told you today that there's another person in the White House, but the other person still getting all the headlines, would you believe me? Absolutely. Because this is who Donald Trump is. Remember I said, what does he do? I said, Donald Trump, I said he lies, he cheats, and he steals. Or does he? Or does he just know a formula that keeps him in perpetual high demand? Okay, so what are the takeaways? Well, being in high demand requires an irresistible product. Now, this is very unfortunate because if you know anything about me, and you know about my personal mission statement, is to inspire everybody I meet to pursue their calling, passion, and purpose, do it with excellence, and live a legendary life for the right reasons. See, I have to put the disclaimer there, for the right reasons. There are a lot of people in the earth that inspire people to do the wrong things for the wrong reasons. And guess what? They end up being legendary in our minds just because of all of the bad stuff that they did. But I'm not that dude. I am the person that wants to inspire you, to pursue your calling, passion, and purpose. Do it with excellence, live a legendary life that inspires good. But being in high demand requires an irresistible product. And I'm going to tell you something. Just as powerful as love and inspiration is, hate and evil is just as powerful. And guess what? They can both keep you in high demand. I just choose the love and the good as opposed to the hate and the evil. So what is your homework for this week? That is an awesome question. This is what I want you to do just now. So follow me on this, because the whole premise of Slow Money Blues is to teach you how to create your own personal freedom success system. And we're going to teach you how to build it, launch it, and grow it, right? So this is what I want you to do if you are a business owner right now. And as we're closing out the calendar year for 2022, I want you to look at your numbers to determine your number one selling product or service. That number one selling product or service is, guess what? It discovered a problem and is solving a problem. And guess what? You want to continue to do that again and again and again. Well, on the flip side of that, whatever products you have, so whether you're a brick and mortar or whether you're virtual, if it's not selling, go ahead and remove it from your inventory, right? Because it's not making you any money, right? In fact, it's actually costing you money, particularly if you're buying that product, if you're in a brick and mortar. And let's just say you have a coffee shop and your number one coffee is this type of coffee, but you have these other bottom 3 coffees and you just keep them on the menu because certain people come. Just get rid of them and take that money from those bottom dwellers there that are not making you any profits, not generating you revenue, and put them toward the things that are in high demand, and watch that revenue increase and watch your profits increase also. So what did we talk about today? Well, we talked about Donald Trump in our W.I.L.F series, and we really talked about how to remain in high demand. And it only requires 3 things. You have to discover a problem, you have to solve the problem, and then repeat. And if you do that again and again, I promise you, your bottom line is going to be fat. Now, The only thing I need you to do now, I need your help. I need your help. I need you to tell anyone suffering from slow money blues to tune in each Tuesday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want you to write, rate, review us, of course. Download and subscribe to our podcast. Follow, like, and share us on all social media at Slow Money Blues. And join our private Facebook group. Until next time, continue to build, launch, and grow your own personal freedom success system. And I will not see you at the top, but I will see you where? Over the top. Super stoked about the rest of this week and closing out strong. I definitely want you to tune in next week, because next week we're going to be talking about well, you know what? You gotta check it out next week, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and as always, live big. Bye.